Yeah, in today's class, I have planned to discuss about a very important concept, that is gravitational force. As all of us know that gravitational force was discovered by a great scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. And we know the story behind it. He was sitting under an apple tree. An apple fell down on his head, and instead of eating the apple, he started thinking, why apple is coming down? Why not it is going up? Thereby, he revealed the fact that this earth has a force known as gravitational force, and which attracts the things towards the earth. And he applied this knowledge to the whole universe. In a solar system, the planets are revolving around the sun. The galaxies are revolving around their centers. The whole universe is made of due to gravitational force. He revealed the fact between every two objects in this universe, there is a gravitational force. And he says that this gravitational force is always attractive force, and it depends on the mass of the object. It also depends on the distance between the two objects. Thereby, he derived a law which is popularly known as Newton's law of gravitation. Now, let me teach you about the Newton's law of gravitation, or the universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Newton says that between any two objects in this universe, there is a gravitational force. So let me consider two objects of masses m1 and m2. Say for example, here is an object of mass m1, and here is one more object of mass m2. Say like Earth and Moon. Moon is revolving around the Earth because of gravitational force of Earth. All planets are revolving around the Sun because of the gravitational force of Sun. Because the mass of Sun is greater than the mass of all the planets in the solar system. Therefore, the planets are revolving around the Sun. Here also, why Moon is revolving around the Earth? Why not Earth is revolving around the Moon? Because the mass of Earth is more. Its gravitational force is more. Therefore, the smaller object is revolving around the bigger object. Then why Moon is not falling on the Earth? Moon is actually falling along the tangent. That we will see in the later session. Okay, there are two objects here, A and B, having mass m1 and m2. This is an imaginary line joining the two centers of the objects. The gravitational force acts along this imaginary line joining the two centers. Therefore, gravitational force is a central force because it acts along the line joining the two centers of the objects. We say that gravitational force is a central force. Fine. The distance between these two centers is r. R is the distance between the two centers. Now, Newton says that the gravitational force between these two objects, which is denoted by R, it is directly proportional to product of the masses of the two objects. M1, M2. I repeat, the gravitational force between two objects of masses M1 and M2 is directly proportional to product of the magnitude of the masses. If this product is more, then force would be more. And the gravitational force between these two objects is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Square of the distance between them. Smaller the distance, greater would be the gravitational force. So, combining equation 1 with equation 2, we write that F is directly proportional to M1, M2 and inversely proportional to square the distance between them. Fine. I can write that F is equal to, keeping some proportionality constant G, capital G, which is known as gravitational constant, which is same everywhere in this universe. The value of this capital G is the same everywhere in this universe. There is one more G, that is small g, which we call it is acceleration due to gravity, which is different at every place. It depends on radius, mass and all. That's a different one. But right now, remember that the value of capital G, which is constant everywhere in this universe. So that G into M1, M2 divided by R square. How do you find the value of G? It's very simple. G is equal to F into R square divided by M1, M2. A scientist who is known as Cavendish conducted an experiment, and by using that experiment, he determined the value of this G, the gravitational constant, and he calculated this value G as 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square, kg into kg square per kg square. So this is a very small value. It is into the 10 raised to minus 11, very small value, and it's constant everywhere, on Earth, on Sun, on Moon, on Jupiter, everywhere the value of capital G is same. But the value of small g changes. The small g is known as acceleration due to gravity. Capital G is known as gravitational constant. Right? Then, how do we write the statement of this law? I write that statement. Newton's law states that Newton's gravitational law states that gravitational force between any two objects any two objects in this universe is directly proportional to product of masses is directly proportional to product of masses of two objects, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Square of the distance between them. So that is the statement. And these are the mathematical equations of Newton's law. Here in CBSE, they ask, what happens to the gravitational force between two objects if their masses are doubled? Or what happens to the gravitational force between two objects if the distance is halved? Now let us see the application part on this law. Suppose if m1 becomes 2m1 and m2 becomes 2m2, if masses are doubled and distance is halved, if the distance between the two objects is halved, reduced to half, then how many times force between the two objects decreases or increases? How many times it increases or how many times it decreases, if at all? So let us see that. We know that the Newton's law is F is equal to G into m1 m2 divided by r square. This is between the two objects when masses are m1, m2 and distance is r. But here masses are changed and distance is changed. In that case force also will change. So force will become G is constant. Force depends on mass and distance only, not on G. G is constant. So m1 has become 2m1, m2 has become 2m2, and r has become r by 2, and it is square. So f dash will become 2 2s are 4, 2 2s are 4, and here 2 square is 4. It will go to numerator. This 2 square is 4. It will go to numerator. In the numerator there is 4. 2 2s are 4. 4 4s are 16. So it becomes 16 into G into m1 m2 by r square. It means that it becomes the gravitational force becomes 16 times of its initial value. When the mass is doubled and distance is halved, then the gravitational force increases by 16 times. So likewise you can take, instead of mass is doubling, you can take, if mass is halved, distance is doubled. That way we can work out some more numericals. Using this formula, we can also calculate the gravitational force between Earth and Moon. Using this formula, we know the value G, we know the mass of Earth, we know the mass of Moon, we know the distance between Earth and Moon. So if you substitute all the values here in this formula, we get the force between Moon and Earth is 2 into 10 raised to minus 20 Newton or something else. So what we should do is, we have to put the value of mass of Earth, put the value of mass of Moon and the distance between Earth and Moon. We can calculate the gravitational force between Moon and Earth. Yeah, for the Moon, this gravitational force of Earth provides the necessary centripetal force to keep the Moon in the circular path. Because for every object to revolve around the circular path, for every object to keep the object in the circular track or the path, centripetal force is required. So that centripetal force is provided here by the gravitational force of Earth. You can see that. Here is the Earth and here is the Moon. Okay. M is Moon, E is Earth, and this is the distance between Earth and Moon. Here, Moon is revolving around the Earth in the circular path. It is revolving around the Earth in the circular path. For every object to revolve in the circular path, a centripetal force is required. What is the centripetal force? The force which is acting towards the center. The force which is seeking the center. Seeking the center is called centripetal force. For every object to revolve in the circular path, a centripetal force is required. For example, when you rotate a stone, take a stone and then tie the stone with one end of the thread, and then the other end of the rope you hold in the hand and rotate it. Here, centripetal force provided to the stone is by muscular force. So for every object to revolve in the circular path, centripetal force is required here. And in this system between the Earth and Moon, that centripetal force is provided by gravitational force of Earth. So if this gravitational force is not there, or if this gravitational force between the Earth and Moon suddenly collapses, will the Moon fall on the Earth? No. Moon will not fall on the Earth, because if gravitational force collapses, then the object will go along the tangent. Along the tangent. Suppose if the Moon is here, if the gravitational force collapses, it will go along this direction. If the Moon is here, if the gravitational force disappears, Moon will go like this. Moon will never fall on the Earth. When you are rotating a stone, when the thread is cut, will the stone come and hit the hand? No. The stone will go along the tangent. Just like we experienced in discus throw. When we throw the discus, the disc, it will go in the direction of tangent. Similarly here, Moon falls not on the Earth, but tangentially he falls. But he never falls on the Earth. So there is no need of getting fear if Moon falls on the Earth, what will happen to us? It will always go along the tangent. Okay, fine. Then coming to the importance of gravitational force. What is the importance of gravitational force? If gravitational force is not there, what would have happened? Then all planets would not have revolved around the sun. Moon would not have revolved around the earth. The galaxy would not have formed. The galaxies are formed, the universe is formed due to gravitational force. If that force is not there, then the universe would not have formed. The universe would not have formed. Galaxies would not have revolved around the center. The planets would not have revolved around the sun. And we are not able to walk on the earth. We are able to walk on the earth. We are sticking to the earth because of gravitational force of earth. If that gravitational force is not there, then we would have flown in the space. We would have gone into the space because earth is rotating. So whenever you are sitting in the merry-go-round and rotate, you have to hold the rope because you experience a centrifugal force, the force which is going away from the center. If that centripetal force is not there, then how you move away from the center, similarly, you would have gone into the space when the gravitational force is not there on the earth. Then Apple would not have fallen down. Newton would not have discovered gravitational force. The objects that we throw upward, it will come back because of gravitational force. If that is not there, it won't come back. So many things would have happened. And astronauts all learned that in the space there is no gravity. In the space where there is no gravity, they are unable to drink water, they are unable to eat food. Here it's happening. It's all due to gravitational force. Yes. Why? Tides in the sea occur due to gravitational force, as you know that. On a new moon day and a complete moon day, moon comes closer to the earth. Moon comes closer to the earth. So due to his gravitational pull, the water in the sea rises up. And due to gravitational force of earth, the water comes back. So rises up because of gravitational pull of moon, comes down because of gravitational force of earth. So this rising up and coming down in the sea, what we call it is tide. And that has a strong potential energy which can be converted into electrical energy by constructing a tidal dams. The energy that is possessed by the fall of water and the rise of water, the rise of water and the fall of water, what we call it is the tidal energy. The tidal energy can be converted into electrical energy by constructing a tidal dam across the river, across the corner of the river. Why? So, these are all about the importance of gravitational force. But there are four fundamental forces in nature: gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. Gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. Among these forces, the weakest force is gravitational force. The strongest one is strong nuclear forces that you learn in higher classes. The forces that are holding the nucleons inside the nucleus are known as strong nuclear forces. Okay, what I want to tell you that the gravitational forces are weakest forces among all the forces, and they are long range forces. They act between two bodies which are at a very far places, say between sun and moon and likewise. They are strong, they are long range forces, and they are weak forces. Weakest among all the forces. Okay, then coming back to another important aspect, that's about the differences between weight and mass. What is weight and what is mass? Yeah, weight is the force with which the body is attracted towards the center. Suppose you are on the earth, here is the body, this is weight. Weight is the force with which the body is attracted towards the center of earth. If you are standing here, you are attracted towards the center. Suppose a man is standing here, he is attracted towards the center. With how much force he is attracted towards the center, that force is the weight of man. With how much force the man is attracted towards the center of earth, that force is known as weight. So weight is the force with which the body is attracted towards the center of earth. Always it is attracted towards the center of earth. But mass is the matter. It is liquid matter, gaseous matter or solid matter. Mass is the matter possessed by a body. So weight is the force and mass is the matter. The matter contained in a body is called, the matter that I contain is known as my mass. My mass may be 60 kg or some 64 kg or some 55 kg. Whatever it may be. It varies from person to person, object to object. Force is measured. Weight is measured in Newton because weight and force same. Mass is measured in kg. Mass is measured in kg, whereas weight is measured in Newton. Weight is a vector quantity, whereas mass is scalar quantity. Weight has both magnitude and direction. How do we calculate weight? Weight we calculate using formula mg. W equal to mg. If you know the mass of the person, you can calculate the weight of person. In society, it is wrongly pronounced as weight as the mass. My mass is 60 kg. It's not weight. My weight is not 60 kg. But in society, it is wrongly pronounced as weight. If my mass is 60 kg, then 60 into 10 is 600 Newton is my weight. That 10 is the acceleration due to gravity on the earth. So weight is calculated by using formula mg, whereas mass is calculated by using formula F upon A. F equal to ma, Newton's second law of motion. The force that is applied on the body and the acceleration produced in the body, if you divide them, you will get the mass of the body. That is inertial mass. Yeah. So, I have listed out the differences between weight and mass. Weight is the force with which the body is attracted towards the center. Mass is the matter contained in the body. Weight is measured in Newton. Mass is measured in kg. Weight is vector quantity. Mass is scalar quantity. Weight equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. Mass equal to force upon acceleration. Weight is measured by spring balance. Spring balance. Whereas mass is measured by common balance. Common balance. What happens in spring balance and common balance? I'll explain. In spring balance, we have only one pan. We have only one pan. So, gravity acts on it. Whereas in common balance, we have two pans. We have two pans. When these two are equal, here the gravity that is acting here and the gravity that is acting here, they get cancelled. Therefore, we say that this m1 is equal to m2. m1 is equal to m2. Therefore, we say that common balance is used to measure mass because they get cancelled here, gravity get cancelled here. Then m1 equal to m2. But here gravity acts. There is only one pan. Therefore, this mass into gravity gives us weight. Spring balance measures weight. Common balance measures the mass. Right? Then, coming back to Galileo's experiment on acceleration due to gravity. Galileo's experiment on acceleration due to gravity. The next topic is about acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. That is G. Whenever we throw an object, on the object, this gravitational force of Earth acts on it